Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. The double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is America Just Shot Itself in the Foot Again. All right, basically, America just can't do right. They can't get right. Ain't nothing they can do to help them get out of this disaster. That's coming upon them. The scriptures say there's no healing of that bruise. This devil is trying to heal himself, and everything that he do, it just digs a deeper hole for him, and then he has to go try to fix that problem. And when he go try to fix it, the hole gets deeper. That's what's happening with America right now. All right, we're gonna get into the fact that this war with Iran is not going as planned, basically. All right, but I want to grab this Jeremiah 51 because these devils are in a super snare, a super trap. All right. Yeah. Slovakia. Slovakia. I'm looking for the Most High has laid a snare for them. I'm probably just passing it. Okay, right here. Slovakia. All right. So yeah, this is a snare in a trap, and it has started. Right. This war with Iran is already kicking off. It's already getting bigger. It's getting wider. Right. Multiple people are joining the Houthis, right? Who America has already tried to attack before and had to end up running away, right? Hezbollah is now joining in the war. Iran is there, of course, and then you also have China and Russia, who China is like supplying, you know, basically Google images of all America's equipment, all of the bases and things like that, and making it easier for Iran to attack it. And the bottom line is, this BRICS operation, Russia and China can't see Iran fall, right? They wouldn't allow that to happen. And the scriptures say that they're going to be joined together in battle. But let me grab this. Jeremiah 50 and 22, it says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, ultimately, this war with Iran is a huge hole, that they're digging for themselves. All right, but what I want to get into is the fact that let me see. All right, this war has caused Russia and China to have a greater position, basically. I don't know what I want to get first. We got two videos I want to show. This is a video I did because there's another option. So I'm gonna play this one first over here. What has happened is Iran. They say Iran did it, but some people say Israel also attacked it. There's two reports on that. Which is fine. Whatever the case may be, is no longer there. Let me see. Okay, right here. So they're saying Israel attacked it. I'm not sure if this is the same one. Let's see. It says Israel attacked Saudi Aramco's refinery and false flag operation. And they're saying, some like I said, some people are saying Iran attacked it. Some people are saying Israel attacked it. The attack against petroleum facilities of Saudi Arabia this morning was made by Israelis and is an example of the false flag operation. The source said, uh, Saudi Aramco's facilities have never been targeted by Iran, he added. Now that's over here. Matter of fact, yeah, it's right there. So this is the source they got it from. Okay. It says the attack on Saudi Arabia Aramco oil facilities this morning was carried out by the Israelis and it is an example of a false flag operation. Okay. So they basically said that Israel did it. DC percent Israel did it. Whatever the case may be. I just want to throw that out there because there's different reports coming out, whatever the case may be, but it's still destroyed. Okay. So let me play this video.
From one of Europe's most respected energy think tanks is the professional equivalent of saying that every plan European governments made for energy security this decade, LNG sits dark.
All right, so basically, like I said, what happened was this oil facility. They said it's so big you can see it from space. Does like 20% of the world's oil. Is dark. It's no longer operational. They have ceased operations, and also to get this oil out of there, it goes to the Strait of Hormuz too, which is also closed down anyway. Okay.
In northeastern Qatar with no restart date. The threat to security of supply is here and now, said Simone Tagliapietra, an analyst at Bruegel. The extent of it will depend on the duration of the shutdown, but we are now into a new scenario. A new scenario. That phrase, from one of Europe's most respected energy think tanks, is the professional equivalent of saying that every plan European governments made for energy security this decade was constructed around an assumption that is now false. That Ras Laffan would keep running regardless of what happened in the Middle East, because Qatar was above the conflict, because Iran would never target the infrastructure that funds Qatar's entire economy, because economic self-interest would restrain the hand reaching for the drone controller. Iran reached for the drone controller. And now Europe is in a new scenario with no map. Stay with me. Because Ras Laffan going dark is not just an energy story. It is the moment the chess game that Russia and China have been playing since January 2026 revealed its final configuration. And every piece on the board is exactly where Moscow and Beijing needed it to be. Russian oil and gas companies are clearly benefiting from the events unfolding in the Middle East. Their stock prices continue to rise. That sentence from Russian trading data published this Monday morning is not a boast. It is a description of a mechanism. Russia's Gazprom, Rosneft, and Novatek are rising in value on the Moscow exchange because the Ras Laffan facility that competes with Russian gas for European customers is dark, because the Strait of Hormuz that carries Russian competitors' oil is conditionally closed, because the Saudi Aramco refinery at Ras Tanura that processes 550,000 barrels per day of Saudi crude is shut as a precautionary measure, because oil and gas production has stopped in Iraqi Kurdistan and several large Israeli gas fields have sharply reduced exports to Egypt. Everything that competes with Russian energy in the global market is shutting down simultaneously. And Russia did not fire a single missile to make it happen. Kirill Dmitriev, the special representative of the president of the Russian Federation, reminded the Europeans about the refusal of the European Union to purchase Russian gas. When you see a higher energy bill, remember Happy Ursula and Kaya.
And that's the point. That's why these 10 horns are gonna hate the whore. It was already hating America, with the things that they were doing. Even, basically they say America built the Nord Stream pipeline just like America said they would, and then they couldn't get, the gas, right, efficient gas over there. And now they have this thing where, they don't want, America doesn't want NATO to buy the Russian gas, right? But they're running out of options. So this goes into a lot. We can see where this will head basically regarding the 10 horns hating the whore, burning her with fire, making backdoor deals and things like that. Even these Arabs, Ishmael, they out here calling Putin, asking for help in different things because America has turned their back on them to basically help Israel. Obadiah 1:7 says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. Right? So, hey, everything is looking in the favor of Russia and China. All right. It says Revelation 17 and 14. The point is going into 16. It says started 12. Revelation 17 and 12. It says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." Now this is NATO, the EU. This is exactly what took place in the world. NATO and EU gave their power unto America. But in these last days, right, as things heat up, we see that their tensions are, shifting, flaring up. People are picking sides and things are happening. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them," because ultimately they're going to be fighting World War III, right? And during World War III, Yahweh Shai is going to pull up, to basically give them their just due judgment, and also, gather his elect and take them up into the chariots, because the World War III will get nuclear. And we need salvation from that. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and faithful, are called and chosen and faithful." It's like you bear with me real quick. All right, so going back over here, it says, "And he said unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Yeah, because Babylon the Great, is heaping nations unto himself. Different, all the people around the world taking what don't belong to him and all of that. Going to the Habakkuk chapter 2. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So there's going to be, reasons to why these 10 horns will hate the whore. The 10 horns being NATO, EU, the whore being America. And we can see the reasons unfolding in front of us in real time in the world. Another big reason is this war with Iran. All right, because if you look right here, China's new Arctic route is changing global trade. Now, this is a video I did. Now, I'll get to the point where I'll play the video, but because the ice is melting above Russia, has invested in ships that are able to, basically drive, or if you say drive, I don't know what boats do. They sail, right? They're sailing on the ice, and they're able to break the ice and have a route, and that route is going to lead directly to Europe. Now, that could be another reason why Trump wants Greenland, and that's going to be another problem. This is going to be another war, because right now the oil is stopping, and it just happened. So the oil is stopping out of Iran. They're going to need oil. They're going to need resources. They're going to need gas, and China and Russia have the resources and the route. The only people in the world right now have that route, which is above Russia in the Arctic. Now you have the Arctic, right? The ice is melting in the Arctic, and China has found, them a route, right, away from pressure, away from, everyone, away from, policing the area, and now America is going over there, So I'm gonna play a little bit. When I said America is going over there, I'm talking about trying to take Greenland. This, you can watch the whole thing if you want, right? But yeah, I'm just playing.
Modern icebreakers and plans to add more, including a nuclear-powered design. That fleet supports research now, but it also builds the knowledge needed for commercial operations later. And then there's Russia. Russia controls the route. China needs access. Russia needs cargo, investment, and partners.
Well, matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll play probably a few up here, and then I'll get back to where I started at. Okay.
For most of modern history, the Arctic was a wall, not a road. Ice made commercial shipping impossible. Navigation charts ended where the frozen ocean began. Trade between Asia and Europe followed the same southern paths through the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, and the Suez Canal, because there was no serious alternative. That assumption no longer holds. Over the past 4 decades, Arctic summer sea ice has shrunk dramatically. In recent years, late summer ice coverage has fallen to around 4 million square kilometers.
And that's what I want to point out. Now that as we get close, inch closer towards the end of this current kingdom, right? America is doing everything in its power to heal itself, and we know that that wound cannot be healed, right? Pursuant to Jeremiah 51:9, you have Nahum 3:19, right? There's no healing of that bruise. And now what they're trying to do to stop China from just trading, basically, is own Greenland to basically come over there and tell China what they can and can't do, right? But it's the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that's allowing ice to melt so they can go ahead and set themselves up and cause problems in the world so the whole world can hate them. And no one's going to be mad about when they go ahead and shoot those missiles on this war, all right?
Down nearly 40% from the 1980s average. That change didn't just alter climate charts, it quietly opened a new corridor across the top of the world. China noticed early.
All right, so they're gonna need oil. Europe is gonna need oil. Russia can get it to them, right?
In 2018, Beijing formally folded the Arctic into its Belt and Road framework and introduced a new term, the Polar Silk Road. The idea was simple. If global trade depends on a few vulnerable choke points, then
this is the Strait of Hormuz right there, right? And this is another strait. The war is happening right here, right? Iran. All right. They closed this right here, so oil can't get through here from Qatar, right? And all of that, Saudi and all of that. And the facilities is shut down. So, Russia and China is going to handle that now. And ultimately, most likely, we'll see America might go up there to Greenland and try to stop it.
diversification equals security. And if a new route is emerging because of climate change, China wants to be positioned early, not late. When people hear Arctic shipping, it sounds vague, like ships wandering through absence, experience, and legitimacy. China also invested heavily in icebreaking capability. 2 decades ago,
So this is kind of like what happened in Venezuela. China was over in Venezuela too, and even Russia pointed that fact out. They said the person that should feel more, humiliated or, upset about America going to Venezuela was China, because China, invested billions of dollars into Venezuela, right, infrastructure and things like that. And I guess they were giving China oil, in return. All right, so, you can check these videos out, but ultimately, America shot itself in the foot again, because that route that is already in place, they've already been using the route, all right? Europe is most likely going to try to get some of that.
Remember, Happy, Ursula, and Kaya. That message from Putin's personal economic envoy, delivered on Monday morning as European gas prices surged 50%, is aimed precisely at the European Commission president and the European Council president, who spent 3 years building a sanctions architecture designed to cut Russia off from European energy revenues. The architecture worked. Russia's gas revenues from Europe fell. And now the alternative supply source that Europe built that architecture around, Qatar's Ras-Laffan, the facility that was supposed to replace Russian gas permanently, is dark. And Europe has no third option that can deliver gas at scale before next winter. Putin spoke by phone today with the president of the United Arab Emirates, the Emir of Qatar, and the King of Bahrain. 3 Gulf leaders, one Monday morning. The same Gulf leaders whose territory is being struck by Iranian missiles, whose energy infrastructure is shutting down, whose American defense systems have failed to stop the attacks, and whose interceptor stocks are now running low. Putin called all 3 of them, not to offer military help, not to threaten, but to position Russia as the stable power that both sides can talk to, while America asks Italy to carry its ceasefire proposals, and Iran categorically rejects them. Every Gulf leader who takes Putin's call this morning is a Gulf leader who is calculating whether their future security partnership looks more like the American model, which produced burning refineries, shut airports, and failed Patriot batteries, or the Chinese model, which comes with anti-stealth radar, drone technology, and no wars fought on your soil. Rob Geist-Pinfold, lecturer in defense studies at King's College London, told Al Jazeera that Iran knows exactly what it's doing by attacking the Gulf countries. These countries have less of an appetite for a fight because, at the end of the day, this is not their war. So Iran is banking that they will want a ceasefire as soon as possible, that they will be pressuring the Trump administration. Not their war. That phrase from a King's College defense analyst spoken in...
All right, so you can check the video out. I still got to finish watching it. Just wanted to bring that point out there because I remember the video I did before. So that's the route. Greenland, we gonna see what's gonna happen with Greenland because Russia and China are ready. And NATO EU, they don't have any more options now because they shot up the Nord Stream pipeline. But now they're just dry. All right, so they're gonna need some type of help, and the only help they have right now is coming from Russia. Right, so those are the sides aligning. All right, America is causing this to happen. All right, with them trying to save themselves, they're causing all their allies and their enemies to link up. All right, even being dragged into the war by Israel, they're not even defending their allies because they have to defend Israel. Job 18:5, it says, "Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened." Difficulty, right? It's not an easy thing. The scriptures say that he's weary in the multitude of his counsels, right? He's weary, right? This is not a cakewalk for him, all right? The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. That's what's happening. Every move he's making, the scriptures say in Isaiah 19, right, the Most High will confuse their counsel. And it's clear as day. They went to war with Iran, knowing damn well they could not go to war with Iran. Then asked for a ceasefire after I guess they did what they wanted to do, and Iran said, hell no. Now they're stuck in a war. And they're not even calling it a war. The scriptures talk about wars and rumors of wars. Because these devils, they're not even calling it a war. It says, Job 18:7, "The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet." Yeah, this man started a war with Iran. Iran has shut down Qatar and Saudi's ability to produce out the oil by closing that Strait of Hormuz. Now that's Russia and China is winning. He's gonna probably rush over to Greenland, fight Greenland to try to take that land so he can stop Russia from going over there, to make the trades and things like that. We'll have to see how it plays out. But these are things that they have already said. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. That's Yahushua, right? Like I said, Yahushua is, like the scripture said, Yahushua is going to pull up, right, during World War III to finish these devils off. America will be destroyed completely, and Israel will be destroyed completely. It says his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? That's Yahweh. The king of terrors is Yahweh, right? The Father. All right, and ultimately the Father is sending his Son to destroy. It says it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. Yeah, the nuclear missiles, right? Pelting this place. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the streets. Ultimately, all these Edomites are going to be burnt up in the kingdom after serving 1,000 years of slavery. All right. It says he shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Right, and that's Obadiah 1:18, where these devils are going to be burnt up. All right. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before were affrighted. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. So it's over for this devil. Too many snares, too many traps. They call it Operation Epic Fury, I made a video, Operation Snares Laid, right? Because it's a snare. NLT for this scripture here says, people in the West are appalled at their fate. People in the East are horrified. Yeah, the destruction that's about to come upon these devils. And ultimately, in the kingdom, when they're just burnt up. All right. Pretty much, that's all I had. Lord willing, you are edified from the lesson. Shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.